Hangout is live. Woohoo! Okay, now that's how you do it. 2 hours and don't give up. That's what we're talking about. Thriving in Africa. Cool. So, yeah, after a long while, we are finally thriving in South Africa on the interweb. And yeah, this is a bit of an intro class to introduce myself and Charlinda to the class coming up in Joburg on the 24th of April to the 28th, Bars Foundation and Level 1. So how does it get any better than this?
Hey.
Yeah. And why the topic thriving in South Africa? Well, one, we live here. And two, I think that there's maybe 0.1% of us South Africans who actually choose to thrive in this country. And I'd like to expand on that and see what the possibilities are and how we can get the tools of access out to everyone so they can also make the choice and thrive and live the phenomenal life that is actually possible in the most beautiful country in the world. So, Shalinda, anything coming up for you? Any questions? What would you like to create out of this final live stream broadcast that we've managed to get?
Well, the first thing I would like to maybe just get you to bring awareness to everybody is what is thriving. There's so many different points of view on what thriving is.
Yeah, and that was actually something I was thinking of prior to the call. And like you say, there is so many definitions and ideas of what thriving is. So ideally, how much fun would it be if you could write down your platforms of what thriving is for you and looking at how you can create that? Because if you're able to thrive in your reality, are you not able to spread that to everybody else as well? Yeah.
Oh.
So again, there's also another thing that Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, mentions, and he says you can have an exuberant life or you can have a phenomenal life. Now, the difference in what he's saying there, and I don't know if you have heard him talking about this, is like Oprah Winfrey, she has an extremely wonderful life, you know, but does she have a phenomenal life? Now, having a lot of cars, a lot of houses, a lot of holidays is all really cool and it's exhilarating. But would you also like to create outside this reality and have the things that this reality doesn't offer us and bring that into your universe? And that's phenomenal living. And for me, that's thriving with ease. Yeah. Cool. So any questions on that?
So what would you say is your current perception on surviving in South Africa? Because isn't that pretty much all the projections that we get from the rest of the world?
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, sure. So let's play with the idea, who is creating more survival? Is it actually South Africans, or is it the other 6 billion people that are projecting everything onto South Africa? Sure. Okay, and everything that is, can we please now send it back and return to sender?
Yes.
Right from good, bad, pot, all nine short stories and beyond. Yeah, because, I was in Venice now doing facilitators, and I've been fortunate. I've traveled to a lot of places since I was quite young, and I've never been one to sort of show off what South Africa is and what we have. And when I was there, because everyone is so receiving, I was showing them photos of Cape Town, I was showing photos of the Berg, I was showing them photos of our 5-star game farms, photos of the beaches on the East Coast. And where else do you get that? Like really, sorry, carry on.
So no lions walking in the street?
Yeah, well, you know what? how much fun is it to play with people and mess with their realities when you do say you take the elephant to school, you know? And truth, would you not like to walk around and on a like, you know, you have an elephant as your travel partner? I would be pretty cool with that.
Me
So
too.
would that be thriving? Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Would that be sort of allowing and being an allowance of what everything we have to offer is as well without judging it? You know, and going into the wrongness of, yeah, but how can you use animals as transport? Yeah, but what happens if it's their choice and they dig it? Don't horses love to play with you? So why not? Yeah, yeah. And if that is times the Godzilla, can we destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, try and give back off all night, short stories and beyond. So I feel like I sort of went far beyond your question there. So did I answer it a little bit on survival?
You have. If I have to look at what survival could be in South Africa, you're looking at our economy not necessarily being as good as it could be. You're looking at our crime rates. You're looking at the political situation. So what is possible for people to not get stuck in that as a reality, but actually then, or make that as a reality work for them?
Yeah. So a few things. One, if we could change the way we speak and stop looking for surviving and start looking for thriving and a sustainable country. All right. Then if we start working around those parameters and those guidelines, we can look at creating something different. When we do go into survival mode, for me, what comes up is it means we have to fight for something, and it doesn't necessarily give you the greatest possibilities when you're trying to fight for survival. So yeah, what can we do to change that? And you know, I've been chatting to a couple of people, just on playing with the concept of, okay, so we got elections coming up, right now. It's pretty much DA versus ANC, right? And what is the real truth on why we're going to vote for the DA? Is it because they're going to offer us the best possibilities, or is it because we don't want the ANC to be in power? So what are we going to create? If we
So
are
is that
doing,
constant? Sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
No, so constant polarization or polarities that we move in between.
Well, absolutely. If we go, okay, so if we take the energy and we look at it, now we're standing at the voting poll or whatever we're going to do, and we say, okay, I'm voting for the DA, and the reason for me, and you energetically, you're throwing this out there, you're saying, I'm voting because I don't want the ANC in power. You're going to get the ANC in power, aren't you? If you what happens if we totally twist that round and we all go and vote the ANC, and we throw 10,000 fold consciousness attached into our vote? Could that maybe shift a little bit? You know, it's just a different way of looking at it and what it is that we're actually looking at creating. Yeah. Anything else there?
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
No, that.
Should we poke and pot a little bit of that, eh?
I think so.
Alright, so yeah, everywhere we've gone and bastardized and twisted and perverted the outlook of what we're trying, of creating what we don't want instead of being the contribution of what we would like to create. Can we now destroy and uncreate that all, please?
Yes.
Time to go to the right, try and get back off that on short stories and beyond. So, is there a possibility of looking at what the ANC has contributed to South Africa? Would that not maybe lighten life up a little bit more?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. And everywhere we're unwilling to do that and perceive that, can we please destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Yeah, times of Godzilla and right, try and get back off all my short stories and beyond.
So we're using all these what other people would say, what are you saying? Pot, pop, short boys, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Can we just make it available that we'll actually have a link to what it is, the clearing statement, so people can get to learn about it more, or would you like to discuss it now?
Yeah, let's have a little throwdown about it now. So
Okay.
the clearing statement is one of the most dynamic tools you'll ever come across at this point in time. It was created by Gary Douglas and Access, and what it does is it taps into the energetic space of where you have locked up and limited points of views and beingnesses and all these things that you're not really aware of, and that lock up and limit you. So it sounds really weird, and it's great because it bypasses the logical mind and it goes into the real heart or the source of what is creating that heavy, dense limitation, and it clears it straight away. So as you'll notice on this call, when we're talking about certain topics, it kind of builds up an energy and it gets a little bit intense. And then you say, okay, cool, can we destroy and uncreate it? And you park and part it and it all lightens up straight away. So what you're doing is you're creating more space and more awareness around those points of views as well.
Okay.
Is that a little bit clearer?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
It is.
And then there is the website that you can go and check out, which is theclearingstatement.com, and then it will actually give you a breakdown of each word and what it sort of has and its impacts and all that around there as well. All right, so that's theclearingstatement.com.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have a lot of things that could be perceived as negative in South Africa. And I like what you mentioned just now about putting the energy into what it is that we would like to create.
Yeah.
Okay. So please tell me a little bit more about how do we do that, and how will the next 5 days event that we're arranging actually be a contribution to that?
What an awesome question. Okay, so to create what you would like to create, all right, is a space where you can honor yourself and you can honor everybody else around you. And that will include no form, no structure, no judgments, no conclusions. And from that, you can choose and create the greatest possibility. Now, to get to that point of real choice, without any conclusion and judgment and point of view in what you're choosing, you've got to get to the space where you have no point of view, no judgment, and no conclusion and no wrongness about you and yourself. And that's what the 5 days creates. It creates the tools and the awarenesses for you that you can come to that point and create what you truly know is possible for you without going into the wrongness and judgment of yourself or anybody else. And from there, you're able to create beyond this reality and do the things that are awesome for you and everybody else.
So it's getting to the point of you being you and being okay with who you be. That sounds all weird and wonky.
Yeah, well, it would be weird and wonky because why would you want to be okay? Why would you not want to say, yeah, I'm freaking awesome? Okay, and phenomenal am I? You know, just the fact of the matter, and that one, for yourself, Charlinda, you have created this space and you have chosen to do something more for you and everybody else in South Africa by hosting this 5-day class, by putting up this Google Hangout. You don't even know what you're creating and the changes that you've made already in South Africa. Now just imagine you've got 40, 50, 100 people in a class choosing the same thing and becoming more of them, and everyone else being able to honor that as well with them honoring them. It's incredible. And is that not what we want to live with? You know, wouldn't that be way more fun?
I'll have more of that and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything not allowing that to show up for us, can we please destroy and uncreate it all?
Yeah.
Times a gazillion, right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, other one, short stories and jobs. Charlinda, what would you like to see in South Africa?
Sure. Oh, for me, yeah, okay. What would I like to see in South Africa? Um, South Africa already has this sense of um, tolerance is not the word that I'm looking for. A sense of coexisting.
Yeah,
Yes. So in a lot of aspects, I already have or perceive a lot of ease in some aspects in South Africa. And I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see the collaboration between um, everybody getting to a space of a more conscious South Africa. But
yeah,
if I have to look at it, what we've chosen in the past, hosting the World Cup and all of these events, that has brought about so much of a sense of Ubuntu is a word I'm loving at the moment.
okay,
I'd like
yeah.
to see more of that.
Okay, so for our non-South African friends, would you like to just give us a little bit more on what you mean by Ubuntu?
Um, True. That for me is uh, almost like one for all and all for one. I don't have another description. That's what it means for me.
Yeah, okay. So, would you be willing to have
Hmm. Okay.